Hi, I am the Kinky Coco Queen and welcome to my channel. I know you could be anywhere right now, but you're here with me, and so I greatly appreciate that. So I'm going to jump right into it. This video is about the life of an introvert, the pros and the cons. So I know for my viewers, some of you may be extroverted people, some of you may be introverted people, some of you may be ambiverted people. Like you can go both ways. I hope regardless of if you're an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert, that you will find some usefulness in what I'm saying, and maybe if you're extroverted or you're ambiverted, that it will help you to understand introverted people a lot more. So what I'm going to do is first, for those who may not know what these different things are, I want to go over the definitions. Okay, so Merriam-Webster says the definition of an introvert is one whose personality is characterized by introversion, a reserved or shy person who enjoys spending time alone. And then the second definition, it says something such as the rectile proboscis of some worms that is or can be drawn, and especially by invagination. Weird. Like literally. Let me look. I might provide like a screenshot of this, but I don't know if y'all can see it. But yeah, the second definition is a little extra. But anyways, so basically an introverted person is a person whose personality is characterized by being very like shy or reserved. An extrovert, I won't look up the definition, but pretty much an extrovert is someone that is more outgoing, more kind of, is a sociable person naturally. And then an ambivert is someone who can be both, who has those reserved moments, but those moments where they're outgoing as well. Now, sometimes, and I'm just talking about myself, sometimes I can be ambivert. Like there's those moments, like I will say when I'm out and about, out with my girls or something like that, like that's normally when the extroverted side of myself comes out, because I'm out and I'm having a good time, and I don't care if I say hello to strangers and stuff like that, because we're all probably we're at the club or something, we're all under the influence anyway, so you're probably not gonna remember who I am or remember that you even spoke to me, but that's another thing. But yes, so for the most part, I would say that my personality is very, very much introverted. I'm just a person that prefers to be reserved, a person that, I get a little socially awkward in situations where I'm around people I don't really know. It makes me a little uncomfortable, so I might, like reserve myself or be a little shy before I open up. Like I normally have to break the ice with people before I just like, oh yeah, how you doing? Da, 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 da. But and most of the time that can be, it has its it has its pros and cons with having that type of personality, if you will. So I'm going to jump right into a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is the pros of being an introvert. I do feel like when you are an introvert, you do tend to lead like I won't say like, you have no drama and stuff like that, but the good thing about being an introvert is that like normally you're not into mess, because it already takes a lot to talk to people. It already takes a lot to kind of put yourself out there in social situations. So, you're not sitting here getting in this and that and a third, being involved in all sorts of messy situations, because that's not really your thing. Like you're like, look, I can be alone. I don't have to deal with this. I can be by myself. And I feel like that's a great trait that introverts have. Like, we're, for the most part, we're very laid back. So you won't really too much find us in things that, you know, aren't really good or positive. But I know not all introverts are the same, you know, like, but that's just my general basis of things. Um, I will say as well with introverts, your close knit friends, and this is my second pro. Your close group of friends and family, they understand you. Whereas where strangers won't understand your personality, they don't understand why is she so quiet? Why she won't talk to the people around you. Once they know you and know about you, they know you can get in modes where you don't really want to be around people. You can get in modes where you don't really want to socialize. You can get in modes where, look, I just want to be at home, you know? So I think honestly that's one of the great things about being an introvert is that once people understand you, then it's like, okay, I understand why she's acting this way. Like maybe this is just a day that's, you know, her social battery hasn't been charged. She just want to be alone. So let me leave her alone. Or him alone. You know, let me leave them alone because they're not, I can clearly tell they're in one of their like moods where it's not like, oh, forget you, I don't like you, but it's just more like, oh, I just kind of want to do my own thing right now. And one thing about introverts, we enjoy our own company. You know, it's not that we don't enjoy our friends and family company, but we're very much people that can watch a movie alone. We can be in a house for hours and not talk to people and be completely fine and be blissful and happy and peaceful. But then we, you know, we have our moments because I think just as a human, even if you are an introvert, you're going to want human interaction at some point. So we just have our moments of wanting human interaction and not wanting it. So I would say that's a pro as well. And another pro I would say is that as an introvert, let me just say this. As an introvert, honey, let me tell you something. If you're a shy person and you feel like people are always, you know, like underestimating you, you are the storm no one's seen coming. Or saw. Sorry if my vocabulary is off, if what I'm saying is off, whatever. But you are the storm that no one saw coming. So when I say that, I mean people typically don't know what you're capable of if you don't really show those things. Whereas an extrovert puts all of that stuff out about themselves. An introvert normally, you know, keeps things on reserve. Normally people have to unlock things about an introvert. And so because of that, people don't have any idea of what you're capable of. People don't know what it is that you are about. And to me, that's a great thing because you control the narrative then. Because people don't know and you're a bit kind of mysterious, you control your narrative as opposed to if you're extroverted and kind of like all your business is out there. And I'm not saying that all extroverts are this way. Please, extroverts, please don't drag me in the comments. But I will say, like, because our business is not on Front Street, there's not much, you know, people can gather from that because we don't really put ourselves out there. And that's great because normally the response that I get, and I've heard from other people that I know in my life that are introverted, once people normally get to know us, they're like, oh my God, you know, I didn't know what to think of you. I didn't know because you're not really a person that talks like this, or you're not really a person that opens up. So when I did get to know you, I mean, I would have never thought that you were into art. I would have never thought you were into this or that or the third. And so I think that's the nice thing about being an introvert is that like people get to be surprised once you unfold because they never expected. They didn't know what to expect of you. So I feel like you can take that and mold it and put that as make that a positive thing. Now I got to get into the cons. So I will say, as someone that is introverted, I can say being overlooked is a huge con. And when I say overlooked, I mean as in different aspects. So what I'll start first off with is just, let's say like employment, right? When you're introverted and you work these jobs or you go on an interview, most of the time, especially in corporate culture, you're expected to be a certain type of way, at least be, somewhat a talkative person, an open person. And when you typically are someone that is more reserved, when it comes time for things like promotions and whatnot, like I can't tell you how many times myself or I have heard other introverted friends or associates of mine tell me like I was doing this, that, and third for a company. I was like the best worker. They was having me train other people, da 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 da. But when it came time for a promotion, when it comes time for a raise, when it comes time for this, it's, oh well, you don't speak enough. You don't open yourself up enough to the team or to other people, and that's the only thing that's holding you back. That's why you're basically being overlooked for Susie, who doesn't even do the job as well as you, but she's an outgoing person. She's friends with all of management. She's friends with all the right people and she talks to all the right people. So she gets that promotion over the person that works hard, but may not be much of a social person. So I will say that's like, a con, like being overlooked. And it doesn't even just happen with employment. It also happens even, I would say, in dating. I will go out with my social, like my extroverted friends, and I just think it's just a thing in human nature. People just, they gravitate towards people who are like bubbly and outgoing and yeah, and, la, 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 and laughing and stuff like that. And when you're just like that person that's like, when you're just that person that is just off in the corner, like, hey, I'm not really going to speak to you unless you speak to me, it can sometimes work against you. I know that normally my social friends, I notice, well, I won't say my social because I am social, and introverts, that's the thing. Introverts have their social side. It's just we have moments of being more reserved. And often in new situations around new people, we become more reserved because our comfortability is not really there with people we haven't really built like a relationship with. And I mean, I'm pretty sure some like extroverts and whatnot can relate as well. Like, of course, your comfortability has to build up with people that you don't know. But the difference is that, an extrovert can be in a situation, be in a room with people they don't know, and they can go work the room. And so when it comes to like dating and whatnot, there are times where I have gone out and stuff like that, and I'm just a wallflower. But my more extroverted friends, guys are approaching them and whatnot. Guys are coming because they put themselves out there like that. They, what I'm saying, like they are outgoing, go lucky type of people. So it's just, I think in general as humans, we gravitate towards certain energy. I will say I've met extroverts who I didn't know them, like that. But because they just kind of came to me and was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make you talk. And, it kind of opened me up. Like, it opened me up so I can understand why people would gravitate towards that. The next thing I would say is a con is misconceptions, like, and when I say misconceptions is because people don't have much to go off on. um People can often, where I was talking about like how you're the storm no one saw coming, people tend to overlook you or underestimate you. Because of that, people can make their own narratives. So I can't tell you how many times I've been told, oh my gosh, I thought you were so stuck up. I thought you were so bougie when I first met you because you were so quiet and you didn't talk to me. And it's like, man, that's the first place your mind went. The first place your mind went was, I'm stuck up. I think I'm better than you because I'm just not a person that opens up automatically. That I will say is an annoying thing because there's just a lot of times introverted people, it has nothing to do with being stuck up. It has nothing to do than thinking you're here and somebody's here. It has nothing to do with that. Like, it's just, we have to feel comfortable, and our personalities are just more reserved. We're just, we're people that we're shy. We're a little shy. So it's like it takes some time. There's certain situations that may bring out the extroverted sides of us, but for the most part, we're really good with our own like company. So it just kind of sucks, that instead of trying sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the situation in all cases, but I will say that like sometimes it feels like people won't try to get to know you when you're an introvert. People will often kind of be like, okay, well, she's not talking, so maybe she doesn't like me. Or she or he is not talking, so maybe they don't like me, or maybe they don't, maybe they don't, making up their own stories in their mind about what it is that you're about just because they can't quite figure you out. So I would just say for anyone that's watching this, like, introverts don't like that. Like, I'm willing to bet that quiet person that you work with, that you go to school with, whatever it is, I'm willing to bet if you just take the time to get to know them, they're probably not what you think they are. And if they are, bye. You don't have to be cool with them. But most of the time, we're not. We don't think we're better than you. We're not purposely trying to like ignore you or what I'm saying, like avoid you or something. Like it has nothing to do with that. It's just that is just their characteristics. They're a reserved person, so it's like they're not just gonna become an open book, you know, or they're not just gonna like an introvert is not the type of person most of the time that's just gonna go up to you and start a conversation. And I know for someone on the outside, like, well, why wouldn't you? Well, why wouldn't you? But for someone that's introverted, it's like I can only speak for me and just for the people that I know. A lot of times we have to work ourselves up. We have to work. Like, you don't know how many pep talks I done gave myself in my mind. Like, don't be weird when you go out, Mila. Don't be weird. And I'm just like, I be telling myself, like, don't be weird, don't be reserved, talk to people. And, then I'll get in a social situation and I just clam up because it's like, I don't know what to do sometimes. And it just all depends. Sometimes I'm the complete opposite. And I don't know, I done swallowed some social pill and I'm all of a sudden the life of the party. But for the most part, I'm the other side. Like, I have to tell myself, don't get weird. Like, don't get weird. Talk to people so they won't think you are a stuck up bee, basically. So that would be what I would say is a con. It's just that misconception of who you are as an introvert. But again, because there's that misconception, that kind of, as an introvert, it does allow you to spin that narrative, because once people start to get to know you, I can't tell you how many times in my life people be like, oh my goodness, you are such a cool person. And I'm like, yeah, Yeah, I don't talk at first, but yes, I am cool. Well, I'm at least like I'm not a raging bee. But yes, those are basically my pros and cons. I would love to hear what my fellow introverts got to say about this, what the extroverts, what the ambiverts, like for the people who it's like you can be, you know, outgoing, but then you have your moments where you're like, shoot, I don't want to talk to nobody. I would love to know what everybody thinks about this. So please continue the conversation in the comments below. Like and subscribe. You will be getting a lot more of content like this from me about a lot of different things, as well as like social topics and etc. etc. So again, I appreciate you for being here. And one thing about me, I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, and simple. I just, for me, I'm a very impatient person. I'm not gonna keep you here for very, very long, unless I feel like I need to maybe dig deeper into the subject itself. But again, I thank y'all for being here, tuning in, watching, and until next time, bye.